Hello, hello, and welcome to this episode of Brand OTC, where we take your branding questions and answer them with a faux over the counter product. Now, today's product is called Renew It All. So, well, spelled differently, Renew It All. But Renew It All helps you to execute a seamless rebrand. Now, if you're struggling with audience alienation, lost brand equity, or costly rebranding mistakes, this is the episode for you. This is for brands who are ready to evolve without erasing what made them loved in the first place. Now, let me quickly introduce myself. Hello, my name is Cynthia Akita, and I am your brand strategist and educator here at the Design Firmacy. Now, today's question is, how do I rebrand without losing my audience? And this is a valid question. Rebranding doesn't mean that you're abandoning your audience. It simply means that you're realigning your brand to better serve them. So, if you do it right, rebranding can actually deepen the loyalty that your brand has rather than destroy it. So let's start with number one. Number one, start with why and share it clearly. All right. So before changing anything, you want to clarify why you're rebranding in the first place. Is it because of growth? Is it a shift in direction? Are you actually changing up your audience? Because when your audience actually understands the reason, they're more likely to support that evolution. You just have to be an open book about these things because you have to remember that these people are helping you to build your brand or they've helped you to build your brand. And so you can't just throw them away and abandon them. You have to keep them in the loop. They are a part of your story. So keep them involved, keep them as the main characters of the story. So share the heart behind the change that you guys are going through because it will help to build that connection and deepen that transparency that hopefully you already have. Excuse me. People will follow your pivot if they are a part of the process. And that's just in everything, whether it's branding, in life, people like to be a part of the process. Now, the next thing you want to do is you want to honor, sorry, you want to honor what worked while letting go of what did not work. And that means keep the parts of your brand that your audience already connects with. So if that's your voice, if it's your values or your core offers, you want to keep those things that actually worked and then let go of the things that did not work. So allow that rebrand to feel like it's refining you and not a complete restart of the whole business. That's probably not the best way to go, unless that's actually what you're trying to do. And if that is, again, you want to let them in. The people who want to stay will stay, and the people who want to go are going to go. And then highlight what's staying the same before you introduce what is new. It's kind of like giving someone feedback. You start with what is great about them before you get to the part that they're a bit more uncomfortable with. So highlight the things that are staying the same before you introduce what's new because change is hard for everybody. Rebranding is not about erasing your past, but it's about evolving your presence, and that's important. So, number three, involve your audience in the journey at all times. Bring your audience into the rebrand through sneak peeks, behind the scenes. You can take polls and involve them in the process. If you're painting your store another color, um, show them the options that you're kind of thinking over and create a poll and say, okay, here are the three paint options. Which one would you guys want to see? Or which ones do you guys prefer? Um, and then tell the story, let them feel involved as much as possible. That way they don't feel like they've just been thrown into something that they really weren't prepared for or didn't know about or didn't feel like their opinion was considered. So involve them in the process in those ways. Also use your brand voice to narrate the evolution, but do it with honesty and do it with warmth. Again, change is hard for everybody. And so you don't just want to go in and start moving things around and changing the furniture, like figuratively, right? But you want to do it tactfully, because people's emotions will be involved. If they're, used to something for so long, let's say, Nike decided they didn't want to use the swoosh anymore and they just completely changed it. Like, I think you would feel a bit weird about it, you know? Because it's essentially become a part of your thinking, your thoughts, your life. You just that swoosh just means everything. It's on your clothes, it's on your shoes, so you definitely want to narrate the evolution, with a bit of warmth, and you definitely want to be honest and transparent about it. Let them feel like they are seen, let them feel that they are included, because that is the key factor that will help them to root for you and root for your success, even though you're changing things around. When your audience feels like they're insiders, they're not going to leave. They're actually going to lean in, because it helps to build some excitement in what all that change is going to be. The next thing is you want to clarify that new identity without confusing people. So update all of your touch points, your website, socials, your bios, your content, to reflect that new direction that you're going in. And then you want to use consistent language and visuals so that there's no disconnect or confusion. And then furthermore, you want to go ahead and explain how your offers and your values translate in this new chapter that you guys are about to enter. And so again, I've said in other videos that, as you're building these offers, you want to make sure that they align with your brand. And so you want to ensure that they see how your offers align with that new chapter that you're getting into, or that rebrand that you're working on. How do these things still coincide or coexist, or how do they go with each other? Because clarity creates that confidence, and you want to make it very easy for people to continue to follow you as you move forward. Number 5 is you want to reintroduce yourself like a person who has matured. Now, I always say building a brand is like building an invisible person who represents your brand. So, in the same way that people evolve, your brand is going to evolve. That's just a natural part of being a CEO or being an entrepreneur. So, share that story authentically, share what's changed, what you've learned, and who you've now become. It's like a caterpillar coming out of the cocoon, right? I don't know what word to use, but you're revealing yourself, right? So give your audience some context that helps to deepen that trust and build anticipation for that great reveal. You're not starting over. It's a rebrand. You're just leveling up. You're just improving yourself. So let them meet that upgraded version of you through that reintroduction and further explanation of how that new person fits into their life, fits into their pains, and fits into the solutions that they need for their lives. And then finally, lead with the transformation that you now offer. So your audience cares most about how your brand is going to help them selfishly, right? But that's what it's about. It's about helping people. And so as you rebrand, you want to clearly articulate the transformation or the benefit that this rebrand is going to provide them. Even if the container or the packaging has changed, which would probably be like the visuals and all of that stuff, even if those things have changed, they need to know that the transformation that they expect to receive is still going to be there. They will still benefit from that. So you want to highlight that new value that they get for still sticking around and patronizing you and supporting you and being your fans. Um, yeah, being your fan. So when people see, that the new you or the rebranded version of you still serves them, they are more inclined to stay. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye. You're doing all the things: posting content, updating your website, running ads, tweaking your offers, but still wondering, why isn't this working? Truth is, you might be focusing on areas that look productive, but aren't actually moving the needle. The Brand Vitals assessment helps you stop guessing and start targeting. It's like a wellness checkup, but for your brand. You'll gain crystal clear insight into the 9 essential areas every brand needs to thrive. No fluff, no filler, just facts about where your brand stands and what needs your focus. Because clarity is the first step to real momentum. And when you know where to focus, you start to see progress, not just activity. Get out of busy work. Get into brand building that actually works. Take the Brand Vitals assessment now. Have you tapped into your Firmacy benefits? As a beneficiary, you unlock special offers, gifts, and always stay in the loop. Subscribe today to receive your exclusive dose. Visit firmacybenefits.com.